Hey, how are you? Joe Dwyer here. Welcome to the Noble Strength Way of Life. We are going to continue on this all important area of connections with one another because I feel it's so important and there's so much to learn from our animal friends. So, with that, we know that not all connections, human to human, are perfect. Any connection is perfect, really, and some of them are less perfect than others. And this goes for our animal friends too. So I'm not sure if you know, but there were 5 dogs here at one point, and not far from where I am sitting in the kitchen in our home, one day a very interesting thing took place. You see, the 5 dogs got into the garbage, and in the garbage were some bones. And my wife and I were sitting out on the patio. It was a beautiful summer day. And when we came in, we saw the image of all 5 dogs standing now with their heads down as they saw they were caught, and bones and garbage all over the kitchen floor. What a sight, right? Off we went to the animal emergency because it was, of course, on a Friday night when the vet was closed. Thankfully, everything was okay. But the real image I want you to hold in your mind is 5 dogs stood there with their heads down, looking as if to say, yeah, I was part of this. I am guilty. Now let's contrast that with 5 humans. 5 humans who are involved in something that just wasn't the right thing to do. It was a crime. How do they react afterwards? Do they admit their own fault? Do they possibly point fingers at one another and say, he did it, she did it, not me? Or how about a business deal that goes bad or a business decision that didn't work out? Do they take ownership of that and say, yes, I was part of this, I had a role in this? Or do they instead say, absolutely not, I had nothing to do with this? He did it, she did it, was their idea, not mine. Are you getting what I'm trying to say here? There is certainly a pattern, and a disturbing pattern at that, where the freshness of the animal's approach to things is exactly where we want to be in our life. Yes, mistakes happen. We do things that are not exactly the right thing to do. We do make some questionable decisions. The word here is accountability, isn't it? Owning up to it and being responsible for our actions. The 5 dogs at the time, I remember very well, stood there and absolutely were not ready to point a finger at anyone. And by the way, Spartacus, who we love dearly, was no doubt the ringleader. He was the smartest. He was the one who probably got into the garbage. But nobody pointed at him either and said it was all his idea. And Shelby, as you would probably guess if you follow the Noble Strength way of life, was probably completely innocent. But she didn't say that either. It's an interesting dynamic that we're talking about, isn't it? So, as we continue with this all-important Noble Strength way of life topic of connections with one another, this is where connections can become broken. So I want to do something a little bit different, a little bit out of the box, and we're going to have a 2-part session on this. I've laid the foundation certainly for what is the right thing to do, and I'd like you to think over the next week of situations that did take place or maybe may take place during the week where you're part of a group where something goes awry. What are the actions? Take notice of them. And as we gather together again next week with the Noble Strength way of life, we will talk about better ways to go about it. Yes, modeling after not only my 5 dogs, but all animal groups that would have certainly handled this, let's just say, a little bit better than our human counterparts. So with that, I say thank you. Thank you for always following the Noble Strength way of life. Please share our website and our time together with your family, your friends. There is certainly one major goal: to bring more peace and respect to this world for all creation. We'll talk next week about all the possibilities of how to be better at this important area of connection. Take care.